Hello, Namaskar. Yeah, so I know we are late, running late this time, okay, because still some people are coming. We requested to come Swami by another 15 minutes and then we'll commence. Just wanted to update all of you. Because we wanted to avoid any kind of movement when the discourse is going on. Okay, so that's why we are giving some time, because we cannot have Swamiji waiting here and still there are movements. So that's why we requested Swami to come little late, okay, so that everybody settles down and then Swami conducts the discourse. Thank you. Yeah, but yeah, so let me explain since we are talking. So this discourse we are conducting for past 9 years. Okay, and in 9 years it's not 9 discourses. In 9 years it may be 90 discourses that has happened. Most of the time we are able to start on the time. This time we welcomed some of the temple devotees. Okay, otherwise it's a very organic group, and people are coming and we are being considerate so that everybody gets that opportunity to listen to him. It's not to penalize anybody, because we have been doing this for years and we have been doing this on time. That's okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, like I wanted to update you, since on purpose, Swamiji was, Swamiji reached on time, but we last time, it happened on March 21st. We saw some movements happening when Swamiji was conducting the discourse. So we corrected our course, okay, so that Swamiji doesn't sit here and still there are movements. We are trying to be most respectful to Swamiji. Thank you.
Some loose connection here. Definitely. When you switch off and switch it back on, it does it. It has that one connection issue. No, no, that's the same thing, right? This one doesn't have auto talk. It's just a regular mic. So what is the idea? So when you turn it off and turn it back on, there is a static introduced every time you do that. Once you do it once, it stays after. Oh, okay. It's fine now. Okay. So you want to just keep it on or? Keep it on. Hello, Hari, how are you? I was just curious. It's on. Volume a little bit, but as long as you keep it off, it's okay.
I have my fans. I have fan Uma, Rathi, Vijaya. Hold on to it. This is on. Don't switch on or off. It will be okay. No, it's giving the.
That's okay. We'll keep it on. We'll keep it here only. Switch it off because the power will go with the. Oh, the battery. It just does keep talk, right? It just does the starting. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Starting. I know. After that, it's pretty stable. Fine. Off now.
Hello, namaskar. Yeah, we expect Swamiji to be here in another 8-9 minutes, and we are going to close the admission in another 5 minutes, so that everybody settles down and then Swamiji enters. Just to update. Thank you.
Yes. Great.
Don't open.
I can take from here.
Wait.
That's good.
Namaskar and welcome everybody. This time we are genuinely late, and we learned from the last sessions that happened on March 21st that experience that we want to minimize any kind of movement during Swamiji's discourse. But we want to thank you for your patience, especially who came on time but still had to wait, for long, for this one. Okay, and also our heartfelt thanks go to all the volunteers, okay, who put together this one and for their unwavering support. We also want to appreciate this temple management and their team for all the support and help they extended for this event. With that, actually, we want to bid our deepest respect to the most revered Swami. Swamiji has been very kind to this group, and he has conducted graciously numerous discourse for this group over past 9 years. Okay, and we're still blessed, for his continued blessings and presence and guidance. And today's event will follow the typical sequence: Swamiji's discourse, followed by Q&A, and then it will follow by, today being Mother's Day, it will just follow a quick Matri Vandana, and then we all will sing Ram Krishna Sharanam, and then we'll form a line, and then we want to bid our pranams to Swamiji individually, but we need to be prompt, okay, because today it's already late. Okay, and a few more housekeeping items. Let's avoid any kind of side conversation. Okay, and also put our phone on silent. Okay, and today being Mother's Day, I'll request Rajam Aunty and Parnaji to welcome Swamiji with some flower bouquet. And with this, we'll straight, immerse ourselves in the spiritual bliss. Thank you.
Just a minute. Trying to locate a particular verse. Yes. Om Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaste, good evening and welcome everybody. It's an auspicious day, Mother's Day. And
we immediately think, Sri Ramakrishna. For Sri Ramakrishna, God was always mother. For him, he was a worshipper of Kali. And so, yes, all paths blended into him. He was a Vaishnava, Shaiva, Shakta. He even outside Hinduism, in Christianity, Islam, all of that he did. But throughout, Advaita Vedanta, but throughout for him, God was mother. And especially Ma Kali. We pray today to the Divine Mother, Devi, whom we worship in many forms in Hinduism, to bless all of us and to protect all of us, to give us peace and joy. I was just thinking that the goal of Vedanta is actually, in one sense, it's happiness, Ananda Prakti. The goal of Vedanta can be put in different ways: moksha, mukti, nirvana, kaivalya, freedom from the cycle of birth and death, freedom from suffering, dukkha nivritti, but also ananda prapti, attainment of deep, lasting fulfillment, of bliss. And today, I just want to dwell a little bit on this bliss, the happiness aspect of Vedanta. Often we talk about Vedanta in terms of existence, Sat. Sometimes we talk about consciousness, Vedanta. Mostly we talk about it like that. But today I want to dwell on it in terms of happiness. And this day and age which we are living in, luckily there's a lot of study going on about happiness. In psychology, this goes back a few decades. There was one very influential psychologist, Professor Martin Seligman, and he was at one time president of the APA, American Psychology Association. There are two APAs, American Psychology Association, American Psychiatry Association, and they hate each other. They don't like each other. I asked a psychiatrist about it, and he was telling me, hey, they are appealing for a right to prescribe medicine, but they can't. They are not trained as doctors. That means psychologists. And psychologists will criticize these fellows, psychiatrists only giving pills, prescribing medicines. Anyway, but the president of the Psychology Association is a powerful post because you control the grant, so you can direct research. And so this Professor Seligman, what he did was, when he was the president of the American Psychology Association, APA, he turned the direction of psychology research in America towards positive psychology. What he meant by positive psychology, he explains that till now psychology, we have been so concerned with curing illness, and that's of course important. Mental illness, dealing with mental illness, psychology, psychiatry especially. But why just mental illness? Why not health, mental health? Suppose I do not have mental illness, suppose I am okay. But very difficult telling a psychologist that you are okay, because according to the Freudian paradigm of psychoanalysis, we tend to suppress our problems. And if you say, I am okay, I have no problem at all, there's a very big problem then, because you are suppressing all problems. But if I am okay, very interestingly, Freud himself defined, somebody asked him, so what is normal according to you? For you, everything is abnormal. So what is normal for you? And he gave a very nice answer. He said, the ability to love and to work. So if you can do your daily activities, and if you can relate normally to people, you're normal. Which is a fine definition, actually. So how can we use psychology for, suppose I have no problems, but can psychology help me to make my life better, happier, more power of concentration, focus, more resilience, better relationships, all those things, can psychology help me? See, if you say that it's already there, if you go to a Barnes and Noble, you'll find a huge section, self-help books. So many such books are there. Many, many books to improve our lives. But those are not academically rigorous. They are more like anecdotal, more like, like advice being given. And many of them have good advice. But academic discipline, in psychology as an academic discipline, positive psychology, so as Seligman put it, till now we have been concerned with taking people from -5 to 0. But how about taking people from 0 to +5? How to help people to improve their lives? So positive psychology. He's very humorous. I heard a talk by him, it's online, that he said, once I was interviewed by CNN, joke, not really. The CNN said, look, this is cable news, so you will have to be very brief. And Professor Seligman said, how brief? He said, only one word. Okay. So Professor Seligman, what is the state of psychology today, the status of psychology today? He said, good. He said, no, cut. You have to explain a little more. You have to explain a little more. 2 words this time you get. So Professor Seligman, what is the state of psychology today? He said, not good. What? He first said good, now he's saying not good. Please explain a little more. 3 words. What is the state of psychology today? He said, not good enough. So that's the point. That it is good. A lot of things psychology is able to do, psychiatry is able to do a lot of things now. But what about the positive side of it? That we have not explored. So he did a lot of research on happiness. What is happiness? How do people become happy? There's a whole website. He's written books about it. Last 20 years, it developed quite a bit. Not only that, nowadays those who are youngsters in colleges, in many colleges there are positive psychology courses. And they're not named in different ways, how to be fulfilled or how to build happier lives or whatever. But basically they are all positive psychology courses. And those are usually the most popular courses on campus. Hundreds of students sign up for those courses. So what did he find? Basically we'll take a look at that, then go back thousands of years to Vedanta and take a deep dive into it, into the Vedantic psychology of happiness. Well, what he found was, Seligman, he said, what constitutes happiness? First, immediate response, we want to be happy, we think happiness comes from pleasure. You like some particular kind of food, you eat that. Your favorite cookie or you like music, or you like your favorite friends. And so that pleasure which we get, usually sensory pleasure, we usually go to that, and that gives us a little bit of happiness. He said, but the problem with that, as is well known to yogis and all throughout the ages, Seligman also pointed out the problem with sensory pleasure is it's instantaneous. It comes and goes. So I like this particular food, and then I eat it. I get some happiness, and then gone, immediately gone. So sensory pleasure is very transient. It is very ephemeral. It comes and goes. Not only that, the same thing will not give you the same amount of pleasure. The more you consume, the more you do it, the less and less pleasure you will get. First lesson in economics, diminishing marginal utility. The curve which goes downwards like that, each additional unit of consumption gives you less and less and less happiness. And that's true across the board. Whatever you think gives you pleasure, whoever you are, whatever gives you pleasure, it will always give you less and less and less. Somerset Maugham, I love quoting that particular line, as a well-known novelist, such an insightful line, that if you single-mindedly pursue pleasure, very soon you will find nothing pleasing anymore. People want to party all night. Somebody said to me, Swami, in Manhattan, work 5 days a week, Saturday, Sunday party. So this young man, he said, Swami, do you know that I used to come to your Vedanta talks? I said, yeah, but I would party all night on Saturday. At 11 o'clock next day and Sunday, I would go to your Vedanta talk. If you do that continuously, very soon you will feel sick. You will feel disgusted with it. And that's the nature of pleasure. So it gives some happiness, little bit, but quickly it goes away, and also diminishing happiness. What about more lasting, deeper, more fulfilling type of happiness, higher grade of happiness, more lasting, stable happiness? Seligman said people find it in work, in activity, engagement. When you actually do something, not passively consume pleasure. The example is if you watch a game, any game, tennis or baseball or in India, cricket, you're watching it on TV, that's pleasure. But if you go out and play, that's engagement. No matter, maybe we are not able to play like those top superstars on TV. But just whatever we do, however we play, we get more happiness out of that when you're engaged in it. So there's a difference between passively consuming something that gives you pleasure, but not engagement. Actively doing something. So that gives happiness, engagement. He called it engagement. It could be work. If you are lucky, then you love the work that you do. So you get happiness from the work itself. Often people think, this is all from Seligman's work and also another psychologist, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, who wrote the book Flow. He said, often people think that work, I'll be happy when I go on vacation. I'll be happy on the weekend. And now this is work. So by definition, work is not making me happy. But they said, they actually did surveys during work hours. They were surveyed at instantaneous response. Right now, how happy are you feeling, 1 to 5? People generally said, after work I will be happy, or I will enjoy myself after work. During vacation I'll enjoy myself. But when they were surveyed, actually right now, during work, how much happiness are you feeling? They consistently reported higher levels of happiness than they themselves expected. Generally in work, if things are going well, if the boss is not yelling at you, if things are going well, it's a regular work day, we are actually quite contented when we are engaged. So, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi points out why. He says, he talks about a state called flow. When you are challenged, when you are pushed, you are under pressure, but you know what you have to do. Like in a game, suppose you know how to play tennis or table tennis. You know what you have to do, you understand it. And now somebody is playing against you, so you have to be constantly engaged. You know what you can do, and you have the capacity to do it. Now you have to do it. That gives happiness, because you are fully engaged in it. And that sometimes it gets into a state which is called flow. That's also not only of table tennis, of work also, at office, in school, in your hospital. You are engaged. It is not pleasure, however. Work may not be, often it is not pleasure, but it gives happiness. And suppose people don't get happiness from the work. Suppose many people say, maybe not in my work, I don't get happiness. All right. Then many people take up some other form of engagement, hobbies. Some go hiking, some take up sports. Most people take up sports. So that gives you pure engagement without the problem of work, and it gives you happiness. That's why people like it a lot. Anything more which gives you happiness? So Seligman says, even more happiness than pleasure, much more happiness than engagement, is something he calls meaning in life. If it is a high, purposeful activity which you feel is contributing to the community, something beyond myself, which expands myself. See, pleasure is just for me. Even engagement is just for me. But for others, it could be for others, or it could be something high like, say, some kind of art, scientific research, some kind of high purpose where I'm engaged. So it is not only engagement, but there is a deep meaning to it. Some people might be very engaged in the work, but they don't find it particularly meaningful. But if you're lucky about those rare people who finds some kind of meaning in life, higher meaning in life, usually it comes from expanding beyond one's own self, in trying to do something for others' welfare, without expecting anything back in return. So that meaning gives even more happiness. The greatest happiness, he says, comes from meaning. Now, being a secular psychologist, of course, he will not bring in spirituality and all, but from that meaning itself, we can go deeper and see why religion, spirituality actually gives so much happiness. So much happiness that you don't need much of the earlier ones. Pleasure, engagement. So somebody who is fully engaged in one's religious or spiritual life, maybe retired, maybe job is gone, but still quite happy, quite fulfilled. Another person, retired, job is gone, no other engagement. So go on a cruise. Now you have to be careful. Cruise, hantavirus or whatnot. Yes, the poor cruise people during COVID, they are the ones who got stuck. Now again, they are the ones who have retired and want to enjoy life. Virus will not leave them. So, no job is there, you're totally free, but you're not happy. But here is somebody whose job is gone, maybe retired, but fully engaged in maybe temple life, in spiritual pursuits, in study, meditation. People I have seen, so many people, they go off on planned pilgrimages which they had thought about many decades ago. They go and do it, very happy. Yeah. I know of some people who spent years after retirement, or voluntarily, they gave up and then they spent planned way with nature, with working for some spiritual organization. See, meaning and engagement, very happy. So this is the equation. Seligman puts the equation as P is equal to happiness. H is equal to P plus E plus M. Happiness is equal to pleasure plus engagement plus meaning. Pleasure gives the least amount of happiness. It gives some, but least, and quickly changing, vanishing. Engagement gives more happiness. Suppose you find some happiness in work. And then meaning gives the most happiness. So this is a very good indicator for us. This is not just for elderly people after retirement, especially for young people. It's a takeaway from this. So if we all want to be happy, it's good to know what will make me happy. And when I read this, what struck me was, this is many years ago, decades actually, what struck me was the immediate mapping with dharmartha kama moksha. Pleasure, kama. Kama means the Sanskrit word for pleasure. What is the goal of life? First of all, it says pleasure, kama. Then artha. Artha means wealth, success, prosperity. You can easily link it to engagement. And that dharma is a wide term. Includes religion, ethics, doing something for others, morality. And you can sort of stretch it and match it with meaning. So think about it this way. Pleasure, engagement, meaning. Kama, artha, dharma. It's a good map. It's not too much of a stretch. And notice, we never say kama, artha, dharma, not pleasure, engagement, meaning. We always, the language we use is dharma, artha, kama. So on the basis of a meaningful, moral, ethical life, you pursue your pleasure. You pursue your success and prosperity. Who is saying this? Religion is saying it. Dharma is saying it. Religion is saying it. There's nothing wrong in pursuing being rich or successful or pursuing happiness and pleasure in life. Nothing wrong. What Dharma says, what Vedanta says, religion says, is that people want it anyway. It's not that Vedanta is prescribing it. People want it anyway. People will chase pleasure in life anyway. People will chase wealth and success in life anyway. So what can religion contribute there? Religion doesn't have to tell us breathe. We'll breathe anyway. Religion doesn't have to tell us eat. We'll eat anyway. But what religion can do is tell us what is the ethical way of pursuing pleasure and wealth. So dharma is the basis, the Lakshman Rekha, the ethics, on the basis of which if we pursue pleasure, if we pursue wealth, we'll be happy. If you step outside the Lakshman Rekha of dharma and pursue pleasure and wealth, we may temporarily be happy sometimes, but we will create trouble for others and ultimately for ourselves. Serious trouble in society by unethical pursuit of wealth and success or power. Okay, that is the mapping of Seligman's pleasure, engagement, meaning with dharma, artha, kama. But notice there's one more thing in the Hindu scheme of goals of life. Goals of life, purushartha, goal of life, what people want in life. Moksha, freedom, spirituality, that's a goal of life. It is supposed to be the parama purushartha, the highest goal of life, the ultimate goal of life, because it's supposed to give you the ultimate, deepest, lasting happiness. Pleasure, little bit of happiness. Prosperity and success, much more happiness. Meaning in life, dharma, much, much more happiness. Much more contentment, peace, happiness. Genuine happiness, lasting happiness. But more than all of these, deep and lasting and profound, is the happiness that you get through spirituality. Sri Krishna says that there is something, attaining which nothing greater remains to be attained. There is something, being centered in which the heaviest of sorrows cannot shake you. Yam labdva na chaparam labham manyate tato adhikam. In the Gita he says, having attained which there is no more labha, no more gain higher than that. You know for sure, nothing can be greater than this. And being centered in which, yasmin sthito dukkhena gurunapi na vichalyate, centered in which the heaviest sorrows cannot shake you. Which means, even for a spiritual person, even for an enlightened person, for a sage or a saint, sorrows in life will keep coming. Ups and downs in samsara will keep coming. But are you secure against it? Can you withstand it? Because of this grounding in spirituality, one can withstand it. So what is that? What is the Vedantic theory of happiness? Okay. For this, we shall go back to the Upanishads. Long before Seligman, thousands of years ago, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, we find an inquiry into happiness. An inquiry into happiness. Before we jump into it, let me give you an outline, then we'll see what we are reading. You know what the Vedantic theory of happiness is? Sri Ramakrishna used to tell a little story. He said there was a dog. It found a bone and it chewed on the bone. And that bone actually cut its inner lip and some blood trickled out and it tasted its own blood and thought, how tasty this bone is. Now what was it tasting? Its own blood. It's only a dry piece of bone. So very carefully the dog buried the bone, and whenever it wanted pleasure, happiness, it would go and chew on that bone. And that blood would come out, it would taste it. Ah, so tasty. It is tasting its own blood. Vedanta says it's exactly like this. Whenever we find happiness, actually when we are experiencing happiness, it does not come from outside. It does not come from the cookie. It does not come from the movie. It does not come from the vacation. It does not come from the next bonus, not from the next gadget or car. None of that. It does not even come from so-called dharma that I have done something good and my name was announced and I got an award for it and my name has been put on the board there. No, even that is not the cause of happiness. In every such cause of happiness, in PEM, pleasure, engagement, meaning, in every of these causes of happiness, actual cause of happiness is inside. Inside means it is our real nature. We are tasting ourselves when we taste happiness. It is only that we do not know it. That's why we think it's outside. It's only because of our desire for objects outside blurs the inner fulfillment. And then attention is set up. Attention is set up when we want something. And when we get it, the tension is released. And that's what we feel, oh, I'm so happy now. It did not come from that. One very well-known psychoanalyst, Erich Fromm, was in America, next generation after Freud and all. He said, what constitutes happiness in today's civilization? It is building up tension and releasing it. By advertisement, we create desire. Maximize, pull it, push it further and further up, create an excitement for it. This will make you really, really happy. One of our Swamis, he jokes, if you see any cereal advertisement, so everybody's eating, kids are eating, they're so happy, grinning and happy and delighted. He said, no. No cereal in the universe can make you happy like that. There's something wrong with you. If you're in ecstasy or eating little cornflakes, Cheerios. No. It is a building up of tension that I will get that happiness. And then I consume it, you will not get that happiness, but some release is there because you got it. Black Friday, long line, raining or snowfall, waiting, somehow I will go and get it, then happy. For a while. That is building up of tension and releasing it. Vedanta says, when the tension is released, the joy that you get is your own joy, it comes from the Atman, from our own nature. Like that dog thinking that the bone is making me happy. No. It's our own real nature, the joy comes from that. Now, what is the Vedantic theory of happiness? It says, all right, supposing the joy comes from within. In one sense, psychologically, it is sort of a no-brainer because happiness, pleasure, joy, all of these are within anyway. It's not outside in the object. So it's inside, I agree. I can sign up for that. I'm on board with that it comes from within. However, one might say, even though happiness comes from within, you still need that object, that achievement, that thing which I want. Then only that happiness will come from within. So one approach in the Vedantic theory of happiness is, yes, happiness comes from within, but in order to manifest it, in order to dig it out, in order to mine happiness, you need the objects. You need to fulfill these desires. Then from inside you will get that fulfillment. That is, you call it track 1, Vedantic theory of happiness. But there's track 2 also. Another person comes and thinks, wait just a minute. If all the happiness is within me, then what is that thing which is the source of all happiness? If I could know that, and if the problem is my desires for the world is blocking that happiness, if I could give up those desires, because I want happiness, I don't actually want those objects. The wise person will say, I want the contentment. I want the result of all these activities. I want the result which comes from all that money, all those purchases, all those gadgets, all those activities. The result should be happiness. That result I want. Suppose I can get it without those objects and activities. Suppose I give up those desires. The Vedantic theory of happiness is telling me, if I give up the desires for external things, then the mind will calm down and my inner happiness should manifest. So, the second track 2, the Vedantic seeker of happiness says, then I have to do 2 things. One is, I have to renounce the desires for external sources of satisfaction. Because after all, it's going to only bring out my inner satisfaction. And I have to cultivate Vedanta, which will tell me who I am or what I am, to show me the Atman, which is bliss or Ananda. The knowledge and the calmness of mind, renunciation of the desires. These 2 should make me happy if the Vedantic theory of happiness is right. If it is not right, if the object is making me happy, then by renunciation I will become unhappy. By giving up those desires, I will become unhappy because those things make me happy. But if internally happiness is there and the only role of those objects is to pacify the desire for it and so that the inner happiness can manifest, another much better way of pacifying the desires is to let go of the desires altogether without going through the trouble of trying to get those objects and keep on satisfying. Building up desires, building up tension and releasing it. Building up tension and releasing it. Instead of doing that, no tension. Release it. Stop. I should be happy. You see, this is the calculation. I should be happy. If the Vedantic theory of happiness is at all right, if truly happiness is coming from, if truly happiness is our own nature, if I give up the obscuration, it should manifest. So this is called track 2. What do? Those people, they are spiritual seekers, sadhakas, they give up this idea that objects in the world will make me happy. Either they can be in the world like you or they can be monks, whatever it is, but internally they are monk-like in the sense that they know happiness does not lie in external things, objects or people. And they try to cultivate spiritual practice, jnana, bhakti, dhyana, internally, so that happiness is there. Will it be there? That's the big grand experiment. People ask me, why did you become a monk? And I used to, one thing I think back, when I was a kid, I used to see these monks in the ashram. And I thought, they are not like my dad and mom. They don't have money. They don't have a family. They don't have cars. And they seem to lead a very simple, difficult life, like very disciplined and austere life. Yet they are very happy. They're clearly happier than my mom and dad. That used to intrigue me. Why? How? So this is the track 2. Then there is something called track 3 that we will see at the end. Track 1 is what is called Vishayananda. Vishayananda. The joy or happiness or pleasure from enjoyment of the object. What is the track 1? I have a desire. I will go out and satisfy it. I will eat that food, go for that vacation, buy that gadget, have this relationship. This will fulfill, pacify the desire and my inner happiness will manifest. Track 1. Now, let us see what the Upanishad says. I'll read out from the Taittiriya Upanishad a little bit and we will see. This is from Taittiriya Upanishad, chapter 2, section 8, Ashtamanuvaka. I'll read out the Sanskrit and then translate. It's very interesting. This is called a calculus of happiness. Ananda Mimamsa. Mimamsa, calculus, analysis. Saisha Anandasya Mimagamsa Bhavati. Here is a calculus, an analysis of happiness. To analyze, to measure happiness, he says you need a unit. You need what is the maximum possible human happiness. And the Upanishad says, Yuva syat sadhu yuva dhyayakah ashishto dridishto balishthah tasyeyam prithvi sarva vittasya purna syat sa eko manusha anandah. What is the all these, we have got too many talking devices nowadays. It gives. Yes. You have to just switch it off, switch it off. So it says, what's the maximum human happiness imaginable? Imagine this is 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. Maximum human happiness imaginable. The first thing it says, it will shock most of us. We'll immediately become unhappy if we hear that. First condition of human happiness, yuva syat, must be young. I remember first time I told this was a talk in Orange County in LA. And all the senior citizens, they went, boo! Yuva syat. But unfortunately it is true. Whatever was very natural and effortless when you were 21 years old, when you are 61 years old, 71 years old, that is either impossible or it takes a lot of effort to even come close to that level of spontaneous health and relaxation and energy and all that. So, young, where you are naturally healthy, positive, energetic. So first condition of happiness, you have to be young. Second condition of happiness, he says, balishta, dradishta, healthy, strong body. You want to, somebody said, New York is a foodie's place. I said, yes, foodie's place, but I have a weak stomach. No use, New York being foodie's place. You cannot eat, cannot digest. What is the use? Strong person, physically strong, vigorous person. And not only young and strong and vigorous. At most, what can such a person be? It can be a thug or something like that, or a bodybuilder. No, adhyayaka syat, highly learned, Ivy League degrees. Maybe hopefully double PhD or something like that from different universities. Highly learned, highly qualified person. Not only that, sadhu syat, a good person. See, a moral person, ethical person, good person is actually usually happier than, you might think, those people who are crooked, immoral, doing bad things, they are happier, good people are suffering. No. People who are immoral, people who engage in nefarious activities, they are usually very restless. Even if they get good stuff in the world, they don't have the peace of mind to enjoy it. Gita says, enjoyment requires some amount of sattva guna. It says, sukha, happiness. Sukha sangena badnati. The sattvic people are bound by happiness. Their bondage is happiness. It requires sattva guna manifests happiness. So to have a peaceful mind, then only you can enjoy what you have. Person may have enormous amount of wealth, power and all that, but always calculating, always afraid, always restless, cannot enjoy. Cannot enjoy. So, good person. Sadhu syat. Sadhu means a good person, moral, good. So a young person, very strong and healthy, highly educated, very qualified, and a good person. What else? He says, tasya esha prithivi vittasya purna syat. Let the world be full of wealth be at the disposal of this person. So you may have all the opportunities in life, but to become rich and, to enjoy that you need money. And so if you spend the next 20, 30 years in earning that money, then when will you be happy? Somebody said, alas, we spent our youth, our health in making wealth, and then we spend the wealth in regaining that health. That's what has happened. Although no longer so. Recently I was in San Francisco meeting some people in these big AI companies. And something struck me. All of them looked so young. All of them. The senior most top management of the company, 32 years. Everybody else in the 20s. And the most curious thing was, nowadays in Google and all you can see, I looked them up. 32 years, personal wealth, $3.9 billion. Most of them are billionaires. Most of them, everybody is a multimillionaire there. And all very young. So the Upanishad was not wrong. Young person, and they all have Ivy League degrees. And hopefully healthy, I don't know. And hopefully good people. And super, super wealthy. And this, many people are smiling. Just the thought of it is nice. The Upanishad says, Sa eko manushananda. This is 1 unit of happiness. 1 unit of human happiness. Suppose you want more than this. How many people reach that in the world at any time in history? So maybe a couple of tech bros, maybe. Now, or in ancient times, someone like who was an emperor like Alexander the Great or something. You know, Alexander was 21 years old when he set out to conquer the world. So young. More happiness than this? More happiness than this is not possible in this human life. But the Vedas, all religions, they say there are other levels of existence. With the death of the body, we don't die. The Jivatma, the subtle body, Jivatma, it goes on to other experiences until it gets another human birth. So there are multiple layers of heavens, Swarga. Heaven is not one. In Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, multiple layers of heavens are there. What are these heavens? They are not particularly spiritual. They are places which are better and better versions of this. The conception is to enjoy something. What do you need? You need Sharira, Vishaya, Loka. You need a body which is capable of experiencing eyes, ears, or healthy sense organs, mind. And you need objects of enjoyment, the food and the drink and the movies and whatnot, objects. Third, you need an environment. Why the same cup of tea costs $2 in a roadside stall and $5 in Starbucks and then $20 in a like a fancy restaurant or something? Why? What difference is it? Same object, same person, you are the same customer and the same object, you are drinking the same tea. But lokaha, environment is becoming more and more sophisticated. And they are charging you for that. Now imagine, there are these heavens which are much better than this world. Fully air conditioned, in the sense that no heat and cold, everything is perfect. And there people don't get old. Those who dwell in these heavens, you attain those heavens, you get a heavenly body, literally. Sharira, Deva Sharira. And those objects of enjoyment, they're amrita, they're made of nectar. And the enjoyment is much greater than us, what we can imagine in this human world. Now the Upanishad goes on to say, you can get that. He says, this is track 1, maximum happiness. But what about the track 2? The one who says, I don't want all this. I am the Atman. And by spiritual practices, I will manifest that joy within. And the Upanishad says, you are right. Te ye shatam manusha anandaha sa eko manushya gandharvanam anandaha shrotriyasya chakamahatasya. There are higher worlds. They are called Gandharva. They are like demigods. We know, those who are from India, we have heard the term Gandharva. Gandharva usually is a musician. But a musician means musician or dancer, but not this human musician or dancer. They are divine musicians and dancers, the heavenly. And their performances and their enjoyment is far higher. So imagine aesthetic enjoyment. What is the maximum aesthetic enjoyment you can get? So where I live, close to it, is the top place for all of this, all the Gandharvas of America. What is that place? Juilliard School, music. So imagine that, but multiplied many times. And it's possible also. One of the great classical composers, was it Bach, who became deaf? Beethoven. He became deaf. Imagine, nothing worse for a composer. You can't hear your own music. But that did not stop him from composing, because he could hear it in his mind. In a certain sense, we can hear music in dreams also, but there's no music outside. That means our minds actually generate that. And a mind like that Probably he could enjoy his music better by being deaf because he would hear it internally. Imagine, so this is the Gandharvas. And it says their happiness is 100, Shatang, 100 times, 10 to the power 2, 100 times the happiness of this maximum human happiness. Imagine that guy, tech bro. Maximum human happiness, 100 times of that. It's possible in the Gandhar. So imagine, just imagine how much happiness is possible. And it says the one who is on track 2, who says, I don't want that maximum human happiness. I don't want all those objects. I am the limitless Atman. I'm not body, mind. And through my Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Dhyana, I will manifest that inner happiness. This person will get 100 times the maximum human happiness of the track 1. In this very life. The one who is in track 1, in order to get 100 times of this happiness, will have to die and go become a Gandharva in that heaven. How will you do that? The Vedas are ready. Here is this Vedic yajna, do this fire sacrifice, pay this much money also. And then, after death, you will go to that heaven and enjoy that happiness, 100 times of this happiness. But it is available to you if you are on track 1. You want the object, to enjoy that object. Then you will get it, but only after death. But on the other hand, your friend who is on track 2, that spiritual guy, what is the condition for that? Upanishad says, Shrotriyasya cha akamahatasya. First, that person, akamahata, must be unsullied by desire, not want it. Internally, honestly give up the desire for those objects, whatever we want in life. Honestly. Not just externally, from inside give up the desire. On what basis will they give up desire? Are they giving up happiness? No, no, no. They are sure they're going to get the happiness. They are wiser than the rest of us. They say that happiness which you get by enjoying these objects, I will get the same happiness, inner fulfillment, by giving up that desire and focusing on my real nature, the Atman, beyond body, mind. Shrotriya, well versed in Vedanta, with clarity about Vedanta, with the knowledge that I am not body, mind, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. And what kind of life? Akamahata, and practicing this spiritual disciplines. You will get 100 times happiness, which that fellow could have got in heaven, you will get it in this life itself. Now and right now. That's the promise, if you are on the spiritual path. But conditions apply. Fine print, conditions apply. What are the conditions apply? Akamahata, without desire, giving up the desires. Suppose I have the desires, then you will be trapped. Then you will be caught. I want to give up and I want it also. Will be pulled in 2 directions and all happiness will go away. You will not get the worldly happiness because you have not got those objects. And you will not get the inner peace also because you want those objects internally. Sri Krishna says, he calls it, this is called hypocrisy. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, he calls it hypocrisy. And so in that case, it's better that you go out into the world instead of sitting quietly there meditating and pretending to be spiritual. Go out and struggle in life and get whatever you can for your enjoyment and get that experience. Then let go of it. I remember when I wanted to become a monk, I was a youngster. The senior Swami advised me. He said, you are young yet, do one thing. Finish your education, earn some money. When you are independent with money in your hand, then see how the mind behaves. Does the mind want to give it up and be a monk? See, this is a wise advice. You give it up, then, and then only you will get that inner joy. So track 2, Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya, well grounded in Vedanta, well grounded in spiritual practice, seriously spiritual seeker, practicing, austere, disciplined, and giving up that worldly pull, genuinely giving up, not putting foot on both boats at the same time. I remember I was reading Swami Brahmananda, disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, then Swami Premananda, another disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. They had established the monastery in Belur near Calcutta at that time, near Ganga. Very poor, they had no money. One gentleman, his wife died. He had a lot of vairagya, dispassion for everything. He came and said, I will stay in the ashram. And he was very rich. His business and all, I will liquidate it and give it as an endowment to the ashram itself. Now, Swami Premananda, he was the manager of the ashram. And so he thought, we need money. He accepted. He said, all right, we'll take it. But let me ask the president. His name was Baburam Maharaj, Swami Premananda. So he went and asked Swami Brahmananda that this man, he's staying here, and he says he will give away such a large amount of money to the ashram. So our money problems will at least be alleviated, that we can carry on with the ashram. Swami Brahmananda said, Brother Baburam, you are a man of renunciation. In your company, this worldly person has got renunciation. He's got this vairagya. I want to give everything up. He got the feeling of vairagya in your company. And in his company, will you become worldly? So immediately understood that it does not want me to accept the money. So he went back and told that gentleman, it's all right, you stay here, but we don't need the money. And so it so turned out that after some time, that unhappiness went he sort of recovered from the grief, went back to life and started business again. So one must not be on two boats at the same time, put on two boats. So akamahata, without desire. Then what? And then he goes on. Any more happiness is possible? Upanishad goes on step by step. Te ye shatam manusya gandharvanam anandaha sa eko deva gandharvanam anandaha shrotriyasya chakamahatasya. Higher than the Gandharva, these are Manushya Gandharva, there's something called Deva Gandharva, higher class. And their happiness is 100 times the happiness of this lower heaven. I will not bore you with that reading of the rest. There's a whole list of the happiness increasing 100 times, 100 times, 100 times. The guy who has got maximum happiness in the world, tech bro, he's still stuck there until he dies. If he has done Vedic karma kanda, yajna, after death he will go to these heavens. But his friend, the spiritual seeker, he or she can get this happiness. Because at each level, if they give up the desire for that happiness, the worldly happiness, they will get that happiness itself here in this life. Being centered in Vedanta, Shrotriya, and giving up desire, akamahata, carrying on a life of spiritual practice, they will be happy here itself. And that, so 100 times of happiness then, 100 times that, 100 times that, which that person can aspire to only by going to those heavens, which is a big process. You have to do all the karma kanda, all the rituals, and lead a good life, and then important conditions apply. You have to die. Then you have to go there. And if you say, if I die and I don't go there, what will happen? Can I catch hold of the priest? No, priest not available then. Who has done the karma kanda for you? Gone. So anyway, but this person says he can attain it in this life itself. And he goes on and on. Te ye shatam pitrinam chiralokanam anandaha sa eka ajana janam devanam anandaha shrotriyasya chakamahatasya te shatam ajana janam devanam anandaha sa eka karma devanam anandaha. So like this it goes on, higher and higher heavens. And then finally it goes to Brahmaloka. 100 times before that Indra Loka, then Brahma Loka, 100 times that. So I sat and calculated. Maximum human happiness. Remember, that young person, very healthy, very rich, super rich, tech bro, with the Ivy League degree, and a good person. Their happiness, that is one, increasing by 100, 100, 100. This Brahma Loka, I was calculating, sitting down, how much will it be compared to that one? It turned out to be 10 to the power 20. So 1 followed by 20 zeros. What is that? 1 followed by 20 zeros, that times the maximum human happiness. If you think about it, you will die. You'll feel so happy. When I was a kid, I had read a science fiction story about, it's a very silly story, but also interesting. Children, when they talk about big numbers, they count up to 100, that's the maximum. Then they think about 1,000, wow, how big is that? And 1,000,000, unthinkably big. Imagine billion, how stunning it is to think about 1 billion. And the childlike mind the mind boggles at the thinking about that. And the way the Google was named actually, if you look at the history, 1 followed by 100 zeros, something like that. So the person who coined the term asked his grandson or something, This is such a big number. What's that number? The child said Google. And that became the name Google. Yeah, you look it up, the story. That's the story. And then there is Googleplex, 10 to the power 100. Yeah. So, 10 to the power Google, I think. 10 to the power Google. Now, the science fiction story was, larger the number, the more stunned you get. So, there is a number, if it's called the killion. If you see that number, you will die. That's why billion, trillion, killion. It will kill you. I don't know what that story was. I read it long ago as a school student, but I've forgotten it. But that idea stuck in my mind. Then when I read this, so much happiness in Brahmaloka, just conceiving of it will kill us. If you think so much happiness, we'll die of happiness. Just thinking about that Brahmaloka happiness. This is track 2. And it says, Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya, in this life itself, here in this world, if you are a spiritual seeker and you have complete dispassion for all these worldly happinesses, you will get that peace and happiness right now. But you have to combine it with Vedanta, Shrotriya, the knowledge, who am I? If you don't have the knowledge, if you still think I am this body and mind, and try to say I don't want anything else, you'll be unhappy. So combine that and you are happy. And then it says, at the very end, it makes a very startling statement. Here we go, even higher than this. The next statement it makes is very interesting. Sa yaschayam purushe yaschaso aditye sa ekaha. She says that Brahmaloka, that 10 to the power 20, and the human being here with ordinary human happiness, one, they are same. 1 is equal to 10 to the power 20. How is it possible? No matter how much happy we are, the highest possible heavenly happiness, it is the same happiness. What it means to say is, these are all reflections. Our real nature is Brahman, which is infinite happiness, which is infinite fulfillment. And they are reflected in the human body-mind, in the body-mind of the Gandharva, in the body-mind of the Devata, in the body-mind of the Pitris, in the body-mind of the Indra, Brahma and Brahmaloka, whatever. Higher and higher and higher reflectors. But the original is the same. So all these reflected pleasure which we are seeing in the mind, they are all reflections of one reality. That reality you are, Tattvamasi. So that's what it's trying to say. 1 is equal to 10 to the power 20. Yaschaso aditye, yaschayam purushe sa ekaha. In this human being and in that highest happiness, it's the same happiness. That means it's the same Satchidananda being reflected in all three. This is called track 3. This is the happiness of the fully enlightened one, the Brahmagyani, the Jivan Mukta. So, you have these 3 categories of happiness, 3 strategies for happiness in Vedanta. One is the track 1, good person, and trying to enjoy the world and thereby getting that inner happiness. There's a limit to that. And there's a lot of, it comes and goes, a lot of struggle behind it, and you have to have a lot of good karma to generate that kind of success in this world. That's 1, track 1. It's called Vishayananda. Then there is track 2, the spiritual seeker, the sadhaka, who says, I don't want all that. I want God realization, self-realization. What do I fill my life with? Jnana, dhyana, bhakti, seva. Shrotriya akamahata. He gets the same happiness without chasing all that. And much more than that in this life itself. That answers my childhood question. How these monks are happy, more happy than my mom and dad? They don't have the money. They don't have the relationships and children and family. They don't have the car and TV set and all that. How? Without anything, how they are happy? So, this is the answer. Because they give that up if they do it genuinely. If they give that up and center themselves in spiritual life, they will get that happiness and much, much more without pursuing those external activities and objects. And higher than all of this. So the second category, the spiritual seeker, that happiness is called Bhajanananda. Vishayananda, Bhajan, spiritual practice. Bhajanananda. But there is something higher than this. Once one becomes enlightened, Brahmagyani, Jivan Mukta, there is a higher category of happiness, the final, which is called Brahmananda. That is infinitely higher than all of this. So that is called Brahmananda. So 3 categories, track 1, track 2, track 3. Track 1, trying best in most wholesome way, trying to achieve worldly goals and get some happiness. And you can. It requires a lot of good karma, a good strategy, and you have to be young, healthy, highly educated, with best intentions, a lot of wealth and support. You can get that kind of happiness. And we see it in the world also. Some people get it. Then number 1. Track 2, who gives up that and pursues spirituality as the goal, whether in the world or outside. In the world also, one can. Raja Janaka was emperor, was in the middle of the, he was emperor and a Brahmagyani. There's a story about him. He was asked, how is it possible for one man to have all this? You are an emperor, top in the food chain, number 1. Number 2, your daughter is Ma Sita. The Devi, today Mother's Day, the Divine Mother is your daughter. She has been born as your daughter in your house. Your son-in-law is God. Ramachandra, Avatar, incarnation of God. And on top of that, you are a Brahmagyani yourself. How one person can have all this? Janaka. Anyway, that's a different story. So, that is, the third level is Brahmananda. Vishayananda, Bhajanananda, Brahmananda. That is the Vedantic theory of happiness. And the whole point is, we should pursue, go from Vishayananda to Bhajanananda to Brahmananda. Our ladder should be that way. Can't I go directly to Brahmananda? You can't. We have to go through the Bhajanananda to reach the Brahmananda and never backslide backwards. All right, we have run out of time, and this exact time then. Let me do a peace chant and then we'll do a little bit of Q&A. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. It's great to have this. I was thinking the Vedantic theory of happiness. Why I'm telling you, I had a very interesting experience. Last week I was in Stockholm, in Sweden. First time I went to the Sweden. I was in Norway and then in Sweden. And one gentleman, he told me, Indian gentleman who was settled down there, he asked a Swedish gentleman, why are people in Sweden, see, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, they figure in the top 10, happiness index, GDP. So these are the most prosperous economies. I tell them that you live in such a society, you live in such a society, you live in such a society that where I come from, in America, in New York, people compare with your society. People say in New York or in other places in America, if they can do it in Scandinavia, why can't we do it here? So it's a great society. But people are less and less interested in spirituality. Some are interested in spirituality, of course, they have invited me and they have other groups, spiritual groups. But in general, not so much. Especially religion. Churches are empty. People are not interested. Why? Because they are happy anyway. I went to Finland, and in the aeroplane itself they announced, you are going to the country with the cleanest air and water in the world and happiest country in the world. So I went there, and I saw one thing I noticed. To my host I asked, why is nobody smiling? The happiest country in the world, nobody is smiling. And he said, Swamiji, we have a saying among Finnish people, outsiders don't know this. They said, if somebody is smiling, it must be a tourist. So my host asked a Swedish gentleman, why are you not interested in God, religion and all that? And the Swedish gentleman gave a profound answer. He said, look at this society. For us, this society is God. And when society breaks, then I might become interested in God. But I don't see anything beyond it. Now, the problem is this. Even there, in Sweden, in Finland, in Denmark, in Norway, people get old. That might be surprising to know, but they get old. They get sick. Above all, they get lonely. They feel a lack of meaning, a kind of pointlessness after having a perfect society also. What's the point of it all? At the point of death, if I ask myself, or when I'm aging, I know the only thing is I will die very soon. Children have grown up and gone away. I'm just alone. A nice house. Government takes care of me. What's the point? There is no point. Nothing more in life. That's it. Finished. Whereas, if you have a philosophy of spirituality like this, which is transcendent, beyond death, there is a goal to be attained. No matter what our worldly condition, whether it in a difficult, poor, poverty-stricken, struggling society or the best societies in the world, spiritual goal is still higher. And it is possible for you in any society. Any society. And that goal is the purpose of life. Manushya Loka, he says, that is 1 unit of happiness. Even in Sweden, Finland, 1 unit of happiness. No smiling. 1 unit of happiness. You want happiness? 100 times that is available. 1,000 times that is available. 10 to the power 20 times that is available. And infinitely more is available. And there is proof also. Look at the lives of the enlightened ones, the spiritual ones in every religion throughout the history. They were happy, deeply happy, lastingly happy, as Krishna says, heaviest of sorrows cannot shake you then. And this has been demonstrated again and again and again throughout history. Even today, especially India, you will always find highly spiritual people there. A few will be there. And you just look at them, one thing is common. They may be very different, come from different sampradayas, different, some are devotees, some are jnanis, some are meditators, some are yogis, some are men, some are women. But one thing is common, nobody is grumbling or complaining. If you're fully enlightened and still grumbling, complaining, there's something wrong. One sadhu said, Rota hua jnani kisi ko pasand nahi. If an enlightened person who's whining, I'm enlightened but I have many complaints. No. So they are deeply fulfilled. Such a thing is possible. To have this philosophy also, even I may not be pursuing it now, but to know that this is a possibility and it is there, if I want it, I can have it. It's a great peace of mind. It gives you great peace of mind. Otherwise, that will happen. Best society, best life, and then that's it. That's it. Nothing more. All right. Question?
So there are 3 mics. 1 mic here, second there, and third there. So if you can raise your hands, we will go across.
No, I think it's better if you come up here, right? Come up to the, where is the microphone? Oh, it will take time, or the long rows are there. Yeah. All right. Please sit there. They'll send you the microphone. They'll give you the microphone. Tell us your name and ask a brief question. Yes.
Pranam Swamiji. Thank you for your time. My name is Angela. And my question is, on the analogy you said, desires and what our wants rise up as tension, and we spend our time exhausting them, and we keep on doing this in a loop. So for a seeker who's a seeker of moksha, that is a desire.
Yes.
And we have a full prescribed path for that, vairagya and abhyasa will take us there. So we will quantify, we will pacify all the wants of the material world. But then what happens to the want of seeking moksha? Are we saying in the end we have even that drops, because that's what Advaita is saying, and what remains is the self?
Yes, you're right. Sri Ramakrishna would give a nice example. He says, the desire for God is not to be counted among desires. Why not? So he says, mishri, sugar candy. So sugar candy, the mishri jal, the sugar candy water, it is actually an antidote to acidity. Sweets create acidity. And if you drink the sugar candy, mishri jal, the sugar candy water, it destroys acidity. So sugar candy water should not be counted as a sweet among mithai. So the world it's a very nice example. Consuming the desires of the world, trying to satisfy that, creates acidity in us, dissatisfaction, unhappiness. But the desire for God, the desire for moksha, desire for self-realization, that destroys all these other desires and frees us from that acidity of worldliness. So it should not be counted. The desire for moksha takes you beyond all other desires. And it itself will not harm you at all. It will itself drop away the moment you become enlightened. Look at what Shankaracharya sings, the second verse in Nirvana Shatakam. Na dharmo na chartho na kamo na moksha Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So he says, I don't want kama. Good. He's Shankaracharya. Why does he want kama? Pleasure he does not want. Artha. He does not want money or wealth or prosperity. Okay, we understand that. Now dharma. That dharma which will take me to this heaven, next heaven. That kind of ritualistic dharma he does not want. Fine. But he says, no moksha. I don't even want moksha. Why not? Because he's already attained it. He's got it. Because he's Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. That one, that nature of Atman, Brahman, limitless consciousness, it is always free. Once you realize that, this desire will also drop away.
Next.
Thank-
You.
Tell
No,
us,
you can finish, please, and then he'll go
please,
over.
tell us your name and ask the question.
Hari Srinivasan, thank you very much for your time, Swamiji. I hate to go off this opportunity, but this big controversy on AI and a conscious being, if you can just quickly give us, I know it's a long topic, but your thoughts.
Yeah, it is a long topic. I don't know why people keep asking me that question. I am not an AI person. But last 2-3 years, people have been asking. And I guess once you take part in such programs, then other people note it and then they call you. To such an extent that there's a company called Anthropic, you know. Suddenly I got a call from them that we want to talk to you. Can you come to our headquarters? And so Claude wants to talk to you. And so it gave me a chance to meet various kinds of people. I mean, like people who were doing cutting edge work. The person behind Google's Gemini, and the person behind Claude, and the new one, Mythos. And so all these people, and long conversations about this question also. Brief answer. There are strong reasons to say that AI is not conscious and is not likely to be conscious anytime soon. But it seems as if it is conscious. It behaves in a way. And so it's an object, but is it also a subject? In one sense, we are also objects. Bodies are objects. Vedanta will say even minds are objects, thoughts are objects. But we are also subject, we are consciousness. So does the AI have a subject also in that? That is the big question. And there are people who would say yes, they have arguments. But let me just give you one reference and I'll stop. People keep sending me articles. Just yesterday and today itself, just before coming here, I got another article, New York Times. So because they think I am interested a little bit, so they keep supplying me with a lot of articles are being written now. Big issue. One article worth reading is Dr. Anil Seth. He is a neuroscientist in the University of Sussex, and he's been writing about consciousness studies for a long time. So once I had a long debate with the person who does research, who's the head of research for Google's Gemini, Blaise Arcas. He is very positive on AI. And he sort of more or less convinced, at least he cut down all my arguments. Why AI cannot be conscious? He's a very smart guy. So he cut down one by one all my arguments. I was excited. And I got some new idea. So I went and told Dr. Anil Seth that today, you know what happened in breakfast? I was telling him, yesterday we had this discussion, and he told me these are the arguments. My arguments were these, his counter arguments were this. And he said, Swamiji, don't listen to all this. And they are trying to trap you in a network of definitions and concepts. I am a doctor. I have dealt with living beings, especially living brains, thousands of people over the decades. I can tell you with 100% surety that these machines are not at all conscious. And then he wrote an essay. It is called The Myth of Conscious AI. You look it up. It's publicly available. The Myth of Conscious AI. And that essay got the Berggruen Prize last month. He got $50,000 for that essay. So he's giving powerful biological arguments. Why brain, nervous system can be conscious, why AI cannot be conscious. Not that, then I think what would the Gemini and Claude people say to this? Because I know their arguments also. I can see how they would respond actually. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. That's the state of the debate right now. There are two sides to this. I think that it's not conscious, that side is more powerful right now. But it feels very conscious. And anyway, there are many nuances to this. Yes.
Okay, 4 will go here.
Yes, that lady there.
Pranam Swamiji.
I'm Janani. Thank you. What a profound topic today. We are all in pursuit of happiness. I was just hearing your track 1
and that went out because I didn't qualify for any of that. So I got excited when you said 100 times and you went to track 2 and track 3. My question is, when they talk, there's a lot going on with manifestation right now. And in manifestation, they say that think about how you are already achieved what you want, like the books like Secret and others. But here, I see you say something exactly contrary to that. You said give up. Give up everything that you want and just concentrate on the Brahman. Well, it is a wonderful thing, but as far as I can think, all those people who would have attained those realms of consciousness, were they also enjoying in life? When you reach that kind of consciousness, you really don't want anything else.
Yes.
So there is a, what
but-
can I say? There's
but
a difference.
If you look at the lives, if you read the lives of these saints, whoever they are, one thing you notice, they're very happy people. They're deeply happy people. And also, interestingly, their happiness does not depend on anything external. It does not depend on money, does not depend on other people, does not even depend on their physical health. Sometimes sick, dying, still happy. So what is the source of that happiness? It's worth having. And it's not necessary that you have to be actually physically a monk sitting in an ashram. Because Vedanta was meant for everybody. Krishna taught Vedanta to Arjuna in the battlefield, to kings, to Janaka was a Vedantin. So in the middle of all activities, one can be. If Vedanta is true, then Brahman is everything. Not just in the ashram, not just with eyes closed, with eyes open also. Sri Ramakrishna says, what kind of God is that? If I with eyes closed, God is there, eyes open, God is not there, what kind of God would that be? It's the same divinity everywhere, in the office, in the workplace. But then the joy, the fulfillment does not come from the money that I get, or the praise that I get, or the successes those things will keep coming, but the source of my joy and peace is within in that case.
Swamiji, if you don't mind, have
Yes.
you experienced any of the higher stages of happiness?
I can tell you, I can tell you that this little bit I have experienced, because otherwise, why would I be a monk? So a little bit, definitely. To the extent that I have truly tried, to that extent. I remember the same question was asked in a different form by a little boy many years ago, 25, more than 26 or 27 years. I had just become a monk, brahmacharya, novice at that time. A little boy, I still remember, his name is Harshit. He was in class 7 at that time. And he asked in Hindi, and I'll translate and tell you. ये जो आप कर रहे हैं, he first asked, कि महाराज आप मम्मी पापा को छोड़ के आ गए, आप खुश हैं? You left your, that's the big thing for a little boy to ask, a little boy to ask, the big thing is, you have left your mom and dad, are you happy without your mom and dad? I said, and then he asked, so are you happy in doing what you are doing? Little boy. I said, my answer is yes and no. It is yes, because every day that passes shows me that I have taken a correct choice. The choice was correct. No, because I can do better. I can do a better job of shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya. So to the extent that I can do it truly, to that extent the happiness manifests. If I fall short on that, to that extent I lose out. Yeah, so that's the answer. Yes.
Thank you, Swamiji. With Bhagavan's grace, I've been following you for the last 13 years, Swami. So, but I was just making a small observation. I think I'm definitely much more happier after I entered Vedanta, for sure. But I feel deep sleep, right? For instance, when you kept saying track 1, at least like personally reflecting back, I feel there is nothing I'm actually possessing in the deep sleep.
Yes.
But when I wake up, I feel super refreshed. When I sleep for 7 hours, wouldn't that actually like give you like a good clue that, some of the troubles of the dreams, because I used to get tremendous dreams. I think I'm excellent in terms of creating architectural dream where it feels so real. Sometimes I used to get confused when I was like actually studying in undergrads. Did I actually even go there, right? And then I used to struggle, like maybe I'm just sleepwalking or something. But after coming to Vedanta, at least like these kind of things really helps me to figure out maybe this lack of any possessions. It kind of like hints us that maybe deep sleep is kind of like nobody ever complains like, man, I can't believe like I'm getting such good sleep, right? Is that a good clue?
A good clue, right. Yes. The utter peace that we intuit after coming out of deep sleep, that I was at great peace. I did not know anything, I was in bliss. So, just by yourself, without the world, without people, without possessions, without sensory experiences, visualize this. I don't see anything, hear anything, smell anything, taste anything, touch anything, still you're there. Next, I don't think anything, I don't remember anything, not even my own name. I don't try to understand or analyze anything. I don't imagine anything. I don't have a sense of my own body also. Just utterly, yet you are there. In that utter stillness and blankness, you are there. What problem do you have then? Nothing. What do you want then? Nothing. What fear do you have? What anxiety? Nothing. So, all the world, the body, the senses and the mind, they supply us with the ingredients of trouble. Now, the beauty of Vedanta is, you don't have to go into deep sleep for it. Whatever was there in deep sleep, Vedanta says, whatever was there in deep sleep is there right now also. And whatever was not there in deep sleep is not here also. It just looks like this. One sadhu said in Himalayas, Dikhta hai Mahatma ji, hai nahi. There is nothing here which was not there in deep sleep. So one sadhu put it very beautifully. He said, ये जागृत स्वप्न तो हल्के फुल्के अवस्था है महात्मा जी, असली गंभीर अवस्था है सुषुप्ति. So this waking and dreaming, these are the superficial states. The really profound state is deep sleep. Our understanding is just the opposite. We think the most important state is waking state. Industrial grade reality. Dream is like virtual reality. Deep sleep, nothing. But he says deep sleep is the reality. That's what you are, even now. Can you live as if you are in deep sleep? Not that you will start snoring when you walk through life. You'll do everything, fully active, dynamic, and internally you feel nothing has been done. I am perfectly all right. Shankaracharya's great disciple, most learned of his, older than Shankaracharya himself, Sureshwar Acharya. He wrote a book, Naishkarmya Siddhi, the perfection of non-action. We thought, was he a lazy guy? No action. Naishkarmya Siddhi, this is the one he's talking about. In the middle of all activities, all dynamism, complete peace. As if you are in complete deep sleep. Because the Advaita makes that stunning claim that you are. You are. With that great peace inside, you do tremendous activity outside. Vivekananda said, that's the goal of Vedanta. The great, he says, look at the iconography of the Bhagavad Gita in the Kurukshetra. That great chariot, 5 surging horses held back by Krishna. And in the middle of that huge war about to erupt, Krishna is sitting there without weapons. With only one thing, a faint smile on his lips. Can you be like that in the middle of life? In the middle of tremendous dynamism, family, job, ups and downs in life, and when you are completely alone, nobody is there, still that same faint smile on your lips. That great inner peace. Nobody is telling you to be lazy and say not do anything. No, that is superficial, external. So, Sushupti, ye gambhir avastha hai. This is a truly profound clue to our real nature. What we truly are. Buddhists put it in this way. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. All of this, if you analyze, will be shunyam. But the shunyam itself appears as this entire universe. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. What are you? Tattvamasi, you are that reality. Yesterday I met one gentleman, he says, I had these Advaitic conversations with AI. And I told AI that, yes, I understand it is all happening through me. And the AI said, no, no, no. It is not happening through you. You are happening. This life is you are happening. What a good way of putting it. I would have never thought about it. I think AI will put me out of a job.
So in a way, can we just, for my own clarification, so this pure consciousness with this causal body, is that like a way to understand that if that is Ishvara,
Yes.
and my state
Pure
as a jiva
consciousness-
is prajna, is that also Anandamaya kosha?
Yes, yes. Pure consciousness with Anandamaya kosha is you, the prajna, the deep sleeper. Pure consciousness with Maya is Ishvara.
Ishvara.
And there you and Ishvara are one. Except that we are covered by darkness, therefore we don't have, when we come back we feel there was nothing. What are you talking about, Ishvara and all that? It is nothing. Because we are covered in darkness at that time.
So that all that intelligence is kind of contained in a very unmanifested state, this deep sleep.
Yes.
So what we project in this waking world, in a way, like I could be somewhere else, but in a way there is some level of self-accountability that I am hungry for this knowledge, I am hungry for this happiness. So in a way you kind of do design, have some level of control in terms of like what you want to do in this waking state with some level
That,
of...
I don't know if that's what you're asking. Some level of control is always there. That is the theory of karma.
Yeah.
In one sense, we have designed this life for ourselves. What we did in the past is this life.
Yep.
How we react to it will form our future lives. And this is sort of standard through all Indian theories. Hinduism, Buddhism, Vedanta, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Dvaita, Advaita, all of them agree on this. It throws the responsibility on us. What you are now, you are the only one to blame for that.
Yep.
What you will do will construct future lives. But that is not the goal of Vedanta. Vedanta is to break free of this limited existence. Okay, good.
Pram, Swamiji, thank you for the wonderful discourse. My name is Ambika. I want to ask about like the opposite of happiness, unhappiness. Sometimes source of unhappiness is regrets. Thinking about choices that you didn't think were right, and that does bother you. How do you think about that?
You do Sarvam Brahmarpanam Swaha. That monks, we practice this. At the end of every day, when we go to sleep, we imagine Brahman as a fire, Brahmagno, existence, consciousness, bliss. And we say that whatever I have done with this body, whatever I have spoken, whatever I have done with the body, with the hands and feet and all the organs of the body, whatever I have seen and heard and smelt and tasted and touched, whatever I have thought of, whatever I have imagined, whatever I have remembered, whatever I have desired, all the thoughts and feelings in the mind, plans and projects in the mind, all of that I offer into the fire of Brahman Swaha. And I'm free of that completely. Every night before going to bed. It's part of the sannyasa rituals. When you become a monk, there's actually this fire is lit. And among the many things which are done in sannyasa, this is one thing. Whatever I have done in countless lives till this moment, I offer into the fire there. And it's a psychological process of cleansing. And I am washed free of that. Again, I will do nonsense throughout the day, but that at the end, at least at night, before you go into dream and deep sleep, you wash yourself free of that. So mentally, all regrets, all hopes and fears, what I hope for the future, what I am afraid of about the future, all regrets about the past, you offer it at the feet of the Lord. If you are devoted, if you have a bhakti, a loving relationship with God, then offer it to your beloved Lord. If not, you think about the ultimate reality, Brahman, as this blazing fire, which is manifesting as a universe. I pour it all back into Brahman, and I am free of it. I am just light. Jyotiraham. I am light. I'm consciousness only. Let it go.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hari Om Swamiji. My name is Sitaram Kuchibotla. I have a question. So, all the three tracks, Adhisthaya, Manaschayam, Vishayanupasevati. So, all three tracks are being enjoyed by the Brahman. So, where am I?
You are Brahman. All three tracks are not being enjoyed by the same. See, track 1 is being enjoyed. Objects are enjoyed, and you as a jiva, you are enjoying. Track 2 is you turn back from the objects towards yourself, and you realize I am pure consciousness, and you try with spiritual practices, vichara, meditation, bhakti, try to be centered in that reality. Track 3 is you are that reality. You're no longer enjoying, you're not trying to enjoy it as an object. I am that. You know what track 3 is like? Track 1 and 2 is like watching your face in the mirror. I am happiness. This happiness is reflected in the mirror. Happiness reflected in the mind is what we enjoy as happiness in the world. That's what the Upanishad was trying to tell us when it said 1 is equal to 10 to the power 20. What is there in this being, what is there in the highest being, both are the same. That means this same face, you can reflect it in a muddy pool of water, you can reflect it in a platinum mirror. The better and better the mirror, the better and better the reflection. But all throughout, poor reflection, better reflection, highest reflection, I am it. That is track 3. That one realizes, I am Brahman, I am that infinite happiness. So does that person enjoy infinite happiness or not? No, not in that sense. That person doesn't even care for that anymore. We know we are the face. So are we always anxious? I have to see my face, I have to see my face. Other if the face is the mirror is not there, my face is gone. Is it there or not? No, we are never anxious about our face. When necessary, we see our face. The enlightened one is like that. So-called pursuit of happiness is actually reflecting our nature into mind. The track 1 thinks, the childish, thinks that I need external things to reflect myself into the mind. I have to clean the mind by removing the desire for external things. How? By satisfying desires. The track 2 says, let me give up those desires. Let me polish the mirror. Automatic reflection will be there. I'll enjoy the reflection. Track 3 says, I don't need a reflection. I am it. This is the difference.
Good evening, Swamiji.
Yes.
It's a mere coincidence today I'm here. I was looking for how to learn Vedantas from a couple of weeks, and fortunately I'm here and listening to you about happiness. You have enlightened me about happiness. A couple of questions. You mentioned about track 1 and track 2, where for track 2 you got to learn Vedantas. Can there be a combination of track 1 and track 2?
Track 2 and?
Track 1 and track 2.
No, never combine the two. Right. If you combine, that's a good question. It's like putting your feet on both right?
Yeah.
So what will happen if you combine the two is, your joy will come from track 1. Track 2, then I will not have the vairagya, the dispassion. But if you still do spiritual practices, that will help you in track 1. Right. See, track 2 always helps the person in track 1. But if the person in track 2 tries to bring in track 1, he spoils everything. The person who is worldly, in the world, I want money, enjoyment and all that, if that person does a little bhakti, does a little meditation, spends a little quiet time, life will be better. But if the person who says, my goal is God realization, and then he adds, plus $1 million, plus, then he will spoil the whole thing. The two cannot, so from track 2 you cannot combine with track 1. From track 1, as much of track 2 you can bring into your life, the better. That's what Swami Brahmananda told Swami Premananda, that Brother Baburam, that person, the rich person, he has got vairagya, dispassion in your company because you are a person of renunciation. Now in his company, will you get attraction for money? In his company, will we become attracted to money? So that is track 2. If you try to bring track 1 into your life, trouble. Track 1, bring track 2 into your life, always better. You will always, it will be a better quality of life. Vedanta, remember, Vedanta, this is just an introductory talk. It's very interesting, a profound ancient philosophy, but introductory talk only. Vedanta means Upanishads, Gita, Brahma Sutra also, and a few texts like Vivek Chudamani, Vedanta Sar, and luckily today there is a profusion of material available online by various teachers. In fact, AI you can ask, please design a study course. AI will do that. Yes, it will do that for you, and good course also.
So, what is the best source for learning Vedantas, and is there any age group to start the Vedantas?
Start as early as possible, and best is start with the Gita, and one book if you want to start with, Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga.
Okay. Thank you.
And start with the Gita, study the Gita. The gentleman elder, he has stood
Sir.
up twice or thrice. The gentleman here, there was one gentleman.
Yeah, give me 1 second. It's going to come. Yeah.
So that's a long story, but Sri Ramakrishna Swami Tapasyanandaji, who was the vice president of the Ramakrishna order, he was in Chennai, in a Mailapur Mutt. See, he said something interesting about Sri Ramakrishna. He said, Sri Ramakrishna was a glutton for God. Who's a glutton? Who likes to eat? Foodie. We call foodie today. But Sri Ramakrishna was a glutton for God. He wanted to experience God in as many ways as possible. Not only as Ma Kali there, but as Shiva, as Radha Krishna, as Ramachandra. And then he went in Calcutta at that time, the Brahmo Samaj was very popular in that reform Hinduism. And then he said the Englishmen were there. I want to see how the Englishmen worship God in their church. And then Islam was very much there. So he learned from a Sufi teacher. And when he learned that, remember, very interesting, empty the bucket. He completely forced out all Hindu thoughts, even removed the pictures of gods and goddesses from his room, did not go to Kali temple, and he prayed like a Muslim for several days in sadhana till he had these extraordinary mystical experiences. Similar thing for Christianity. And he comes to this goal, this conclusion, that all are different paths leading to enlightenment, self-realization or God. Jatomat tatopat. As many paths, as many faiths, so many paths. As many religions, so many paths. He is just echoing something that is very ancient in our culture. Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. In the Rig Veda you find, the truth is one, the wise speak of it differently. That's why there is such tremendous diversity in Hinduism. You just have to look there into the shrine, and immediately you'll see the diversity in Hinduism. And there is no conflict. That's very amazing. There is no conflict. The same thing, if you see in Islam or Christianity, bloody conflict. Bloody conflict. They kill and murder each other across centuries, just for a slight difference in doctrine. In this land of freedom of religion, but see the difference of freedom in India and in the United States. In India, the United States was founded for freedom of religion because there was a lot of persecution in Europe. So those who came to the US, they were guaranteed. Rhode Island Constitution is there, freedom of practice of religion. But notice how they practice freedom of religion here. Each starts his own church and says, I have the truth, you're all wrong. You will not have a church which will have Catholic and Presbyterian and Unitarian and Southern Baptist and Evangelical all together in an altar like this. Unthinkable. Unthinkable. That is unthinkable for us, very natural. For thousands of years natural. Bhagavan Buddha said, no Atma, no God. Welcome, we'll put him here and bow down to him. Buddha avatar. Why? Why? Are we mad? No. Sri Ramakrishna gives the answer. Why? Jato mat tatopat. They all work. And none of the religions are goal. The goal is God realization, self-realization. The religions are paths. The clash starts when I think my religion is the truth. No, religion is not the truth. Religion is that which points you to the truth. Takes you to the truth. It's a pointer, it's a path, it's a method, whatever you call it, upaya. Then there is no clash. So it is very natural for us. And Sri Ramakrishna, this is very natural to Hindus, and Sri Ramakrishna was an embodiment of that. Why did he practice all that? It was very natural for him. He was a Shakta, a worshipper of Kali. In his home tradition, household tradition, they were worshippers of Ramchandra. His father and grandfather, the Khudiram, everybody in his family has name Ram in their names. Vaishnavism, then Advaita Vedanta, all of that he practiced happily. He never found any conflict anywhere. He pointed out also, not that these sects they don't have conflict, they also criticize each other. But Sri Ramakrishna pointed out, he called it Matuar Buddhi, dogmatic views. He says these dogmatic views are not good. They are narrow and small. I am right, everybody else is wrong. That can't be true. All right.
Saram Maharaj, thank you very much. My salutations to you. My name is Sridhar.
Yes.
We've been having a great lecture on happiness. What is happiness? And again, if I ask 100 people over here, is it going to be a different definition? And is there a universal way of looking at that? The same thing even goes for loving God. Is it universal or is there specific? So just want to have your guidance on that.
Happiness, loving God, there are endless varieties. But happiness we know, it is called Swasambedya. We know inside. It's like, if you do not ask me what is happiness, I know. Everybody knows what happiness is. If you ask me, give a definition of happiness, I don't know. I'm quoting Saint Augustine. He said, about time, if you ask me what it is time, I know not. If you do not ask me, I know. No, but we know. So happiness is fulfillment. This is joy, fulfillment, that a sense of completeness, limitlessness, where there is no want. So, and it's a positive thing. It's not just absence of unhappiness. So happiness is this purnatva, completeness, fullness. There's a definition of happiness in Upanishads. Interesting, very beautiful definition. Yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukham asti. Chandogya Upanishad says, that which is the bhuma means vast, limitless. That which is limitless, that alone is happiness. There is no happiness in the limited. So in the limited, we are all trying to find happiness in the limited. Limited means this much money, this much food, this much vacation, this much name and fame, this much power. That is my idea of happiness. These are all limited. But Upanishad says there is no happiness in the limited. And it's true. We seem to find happiness there, but always notice one thing, temporary, temporary, temporary. The richest person, are they happy? You know for sure. We feel, no, if I could have that, I would sort of be happy. But no, if you look at those people, not particularly. As I told you, happiest country, no smiling. They are happy because all the indicators are showing that they are happy. There's one lady, she's a professor of education at Harvard University, Sissela Bock, Swedish. And she wrote a book on happiness. She wrote in introduction, I was told that my country, Sweden, is one of the happiest countries in the world. But I am Swedish. I know my relatives, most unhappy fellows. Who is telling these things? What metric, what way are they, how they are measuring? So I thought I should investigate. She's a professor, I think she's retired now. So she wrote this. She is very interesting background. Her father, mother, both are Nobel laureates. Imagine the pressure. Her father is Gunnar Myrdal, very well-known person in India, development economics. He got the Asian drama and all that. His mother is Eva Myrdal, she got the Peace Prize. So, father, mother, Nobel laureate. Imagine how much pressure must be there. So, happiness, no, it isn't. The unlimited, this is of course a definition in the highest sense. The unlimited alone is happiness. Another name for unlimited is Brahman. The absolute. Yes. She was always raising her hand, so she should ask something. Yes.
Happiness, as you said, we try to find things for ourselves to do. We don't find happiness in that. And then we try to give that up, as you have said. But the ultimate happiness, you said, is in trying to do things for others, in something that someone can benefit from that. So how do you find?
The definition of this ultimate happiness which you find in this Upanishad, I mean apart from Brahman or Satchidananda, but one step lower, track 2. Shrotriyasya cha kamahatasya, to be centered in spiritual life, have a great clarity about who am I, not body, not mind, through Vedanta. And practice spirituality, which is Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. It must be a life of spirituality. It must not only be, okay, I have given up all desires, now I should be happy. You won't find any happiness. I have given up those pursuits, but I have replaced it with a life of great spiritual striving. Then immediate happiness will be there. One sadhu put it very beautifully. Do you want that meaning in life? Seligman says meaning in life, pleasure, engagement, meaning. That's a good takeaway from today's talk. Pleasure, engagement, meaning. How to be happy. Meaning in life. So one sadhu said very nicely. I'll tell you what he said and then translate. Sarthakata, meaning. If you want meaning in life, serve. If you want instant happiness, fall in love with God, bhakti. Instant happiness. Like instant coffee, instant happiness. Fall in love with God, and genuine, lasting happiness will be there. Third, if you want peace, deep peace, meditation. And if you want the truth, jnana, brahma jnana. So, जीवन सार्थक बनाना चाहते हो तो सेवा करो. Do things for others.
Shamaji,
अब सुख चाहते हो भक्ति करो, शांति चाहते हो ध्यान करो, और सच चाहते हो तो ज्ञान में आओ.
how do you find seva? How do you start doing seva? Where do you
Whatever,
find it?
wherever we are, with whatever you are. One sadhu put it, one of our senior monks said it very nicely. सरलतम से शुरू करो, न्यूनतम का अभ्यास करो. Start with the easiest, practice the smallest. So what we are already doing, I'll transform it into, I was doing it because out of habit, or I thought it was my duty. Now let me internally think, this is my worship of God in this form. My relatives, community members, even the animals around me. I am worshipping God in this form. My Lord, you are present in all these ways. Vedanta tells me that the Lord alone is present in all these ways. So let me serve you in this way. Don't say that, they'll scare people. Internally, that attitude should be there. Yes, it is. You are in the presence of the divine. Serve in that way. More and more opportunities will open up. Yes. And this country especially, this is a spirit of service. So many non-profits. The country runs, there's a great emphasis on volunteering. All kinds of work. In Central Park, I go for walks, I see so many people who are not employees. They're cleaning, they're weeding, they're taking care of the park. That's also service. Yes. We'll finish this last one? Yeah. Yes. I know it can go on all night.
Hariom Swamiji, my name is Salesh, and being blessed being part of this conversation. So my question is, like, all beings are conscious, like we all agree that even trees, plants, animals, everyone is conscious. And more the complex the being is, they have better understanding of consciousness. Like human being the most complex being has a better understanding of consciousness. And things like AI, like that will have a larger, like collective human conscious, like imagine the brain power of collective humans, right? Their understanding would be larger than what we have right now. Now, my question is more around like, while I completely convinced on the being Jivan Mukt is our ultimate goal, and the realization while alive, like being alive, is the ultimate goal of this life. So we can remove the ignorance, being happy while we are alive. But don't you believe like Jivan Mukt is something that I'm doing for myself? But expanding the collective consciousness should also be one of the goals, because then we'll be able to better understand the consciousness.
Certainly. And that's part of Jivan Mukti. What are the practices for enlightenment? That includes Karma Yoga, that's Seva, the service of the whole, of all others. So that includes what you're saying, trying to expand the common consciousness, elevate people. What do you do in education? That's what you're doing in education. Just school education, college education. When you take people from illiterate to literate, from literate to educated, what are you doing? You're expanding awareness, knowledge. It's spirituality. Vivekananda said that what will manifest this divinity within us? Very interesting. He's a monk. You would think that he will say meditation and bhakti and all that. He says education. In India at that time, there's a great lack of education, lot of illiteracy. He said, education alone. He says, in the great cities of the West, I went around thinking, what accounts for the misery and the struggle in my homeland? And he says, I said the one difference is education, education, education alone. And then he says, what happens in education? The Brahman within you is awakened, he says. Our spiritual nature is awakened. By education, he says. But that's exactly what you're saying, expanding. It's not just by AI, just human education. Very interesting. One of the founders of this Anthropic, I cannot name, there I think they have, it's called NDA. So they made me sign that you will not reveal to outsiders what we show you here. But one of them was, he told me, I said, how much of an impact will this have, what you are doing? This Claude and Mythos and all the next generation. And he put it very beautifully. He said, it's going to have an impact like the printing press. How tremendously it revolutionized our civilization, printing press, when books became commonly available. Next big jump, this AI, that's his prediction. I mean, you may not agree, but I like the comparison. Many people compare, it'll be like atom bomb, a very bad comparison. But This is like printing press. It will really next level of expansion of human awareness and understanding and knowledge. Yes.
Swamiji, is a basic question. I'm 71 years old. I'm in this country for 50 years. It never ends here. Your bills never end. You have to pay for your own funeral. You have to plan for everything. So in this, see, sometimes I question myself, what am I doing? Where is the end? When I'm going to get, we keep working in this country because you got to pay bills. And so when am I going to get a chance even to meditate and do things like that? Sometimes why not I go in an ashram in India and spend there so that I can get the time for that. And you were just telling that, this country a lot of service oriented. But most of the time, most of the people, I know, keep working for paying bills and keep on with life.
Yes.
So I feel, what is the...
I will say do something. This I'm telling you because you're a mature person. I will not say that to an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. I will say start with the end. Suppose you say, I have done what I wanted. It's over for me. I am a spiritual seeker. I want God realization in my life. Now, whatever remains to be done, let me do it as a spiritual practice. I am no longer doing it with the concern that will I have enough for my insurance? Will I have enough for paying the rent? Will I have enough for paying bills? That is the anxiety that drives people to keep working. You say, I am not bothered. I will settle everything and then I will start my spiritual practice. It will never happen. It will never happen. You say, in the middle of it right now, start spiritual practice. What did Arjuna, he said, I want to give all this up. I don't want this stupid war. I want to go and spend time as he's a beggar, Bhaikshacharyam. I'll be a beggar, I'll beg for my food and I don't want kingdom, I don't want war, nothing. Krishna taught him Vedanta, meditation, bhakti. Where? Right there in the middle of the war. And he says, you start practicing now. Convert this war also into spiritual practice. If Arjuna can convert war, hopefully he could, into spiritual practice, then all of us can convert our lives into spiritual practice, whatever we are doing. Whether you are driving, whether you are working on the computer, whether you are arranging your finances, mentally keep offering it to the Lord. The Lord is present, mentally offer it. Whatever work you do here, you are offering to Bhagavan. Whatever work you do at home, in the bank, in the office, you keep offering to the Lord. It is by the power of the Lord we are able to do all this. It is by the grace of the Lord that we have this field of life. All of this is given by the Lord. It's not that I have to set all this ready and then I will go to God. No, God is right here in front of us. If I surrender like this, Vivekananda says something very interesting. He says, do this well with this idea that I am worshipping God. Not that I am storing money for my welfare. I am worshipping God in this way. These are the duties in front of me. Mentally, first of all, discard. I don't want anything from anybody. Tomorrow if I die, I'm fine. What about all this has not been taken care of? Will has to be done. What will happen to children, grandchildren? God will take care of them. Mentally. The world, one gentleman came to Swami Ramakrishnanji in Chennai. He had many projects for improvement of society. Swami Ramakrishnanji sat and listened. Then he just said, I wonder what God did before you were born. Everything is being done by, there is a power which is doing everything, including what we are doing also. The very fact that I can raise my hand now, power of God. Next one moment, one stroke will come, I won't be able to raise this hand. I don't think we are doing anything at all, even things, voluntary actions, by our power. We think we are. So let us acknowledge the presence of the Lord in our lives, Bhagavan in our lives. And doing that, then Vivekananda says, after that, still work will be there. Do that work well. The Lord will set you free. Something will be imposed upon you. Do it well. The Lord will set you free. Don't avoid that. Right now we are doing it for our personal gain or our anxiety or our plans. Do the same thing and the result will also be the same. See, Arjuna fought the war. He got the battle, he got the kingdom also. But that was no longer the goal. The goal was Vedanta and God realization. Yeah, that's the beauty of Karma Yoga. Transformation of our daily life into work, into worship. Work into worship. It can be done. I've seen so many of the monks You go to the ashram, what are they doing? Exactly what you are doing. They're doing accounts, they're looking after the maintenance of the building, they are running an office or a school, or looking after the garden, looking after the wealth of the children in the ashram, or the health of somebody is looking after the accounts of the ashram. So all office work, school work, maintenance work, everything just like everybody else. But it is seva for them. It's spiritual practice for them. There's not an iota of attachment there. Yes. Finished. We'll afterwards. All right. Done? Yes, we'll do that. It's late. Afterwards, we can do this pranams just where you're standing, right? That will be pranams. Okay, fine. All right, let's do the Matri.
100% connected to Ruchi's iPhone.
Good evening, everybody. Pranam Maharaj. In our special day today, we would love to seek your kind permission as we offer a bhajan for Sri Sharada Mahadevi, and followed by Sri Ramakrishna Sharanam. As we celebrate Mother's Day for all the beautiful and lovely mothers out there, let us all bow down our heart and soul to our Ma, because today's such a special day, and wishing you all a beautiful, soulful, and happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Jaya Jaya Janani, Jaya Shri Sharadamani, Jaya Jaya Janani, Jaya Shri Sharadamani, Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma. Jaya Jaya Janani, Jaya Shri Sharadamani, Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma. Adya Shakti Parama Prakriti, Adya Shakti Parama Prakriti, Asharana Gati Tumi Ma, Asharana Gati Tumi Ma. Jaya Jaya Janani, Jaya Shri Sharadamani, Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma. Jaya Jagatarini, Bhava Bhayaharini, Jaya Jagatarini, Bhava Bhayaharini, Durgati Nivarini Ma. Siddhi Pradayini, Mukti Vidayini, Siddhi Pradayini, Mukti Vidayini, Jivagati Dayini Ma, Jivagati Dayini Ma. Jaya Jaya Janani, Jaya Shri Sharadamani, Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma. Nikhila Jagat Mata, Jiva Kalyana Rata, Nikhila Jagat Mata, Jiva Kalyana Rata, Laja Pata Ma. Durjana Sajana Santana Ganana, Durjana Sajana Santana Ganana, सीता राधा माता मेरी जशोधरा विष्णु प्रिया माँ जुगदेव वंदिता सुर नर सेविता जुगदेव वंदिता सुर नर सेविता नमो नारायणी माँ नमो नारायणी माँ जय जय जननी जय श्री शारदामणि जय जय जननी जय श्री शारदामणि करुणारूपिणी जय माँ करुणारूपिणी जय माँ करुणारूपिणी जय माँ.
Now we will chant Ram Krishna Sharanam. Everyone has the PDF, so we can all chant it. Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharane. Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Ram Krishna Sharanam, Sharane. कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम शरण्ये कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम कृपा ही केवलम शरण्ये राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम राम कृष्ण शरणम शरण्ये शरणागतोऽहं 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 शरण्ये शरणागतोऽहं 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 शरण्ये रामकृष्ण शरणं रामकृष्ण शरणं रामकृष्ण शरणं शरण्ये नमः श्री गुरवे नमः श्री गुरवे नमः श्री गुरवे नमो नमो नमः श्री गुरवे नमः श्री गुरवे नमः श्री गुरवे नमो नमो रामकृष्ण शरणं रामकृष्ण शरणं रामकृष्ण शरणं शरण्ये रामकृष्ण रामकृष्ण जय जय रामकृष्ण 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 रामकृष्ण शरणं रामकृष्ण शरणं रामकृष्ण शरणं शरण्ये रामकृष्ण शरणं रामकृष्ण शरणं रामकृष्ण शरणं शरण्ये जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी की जय जय महामाई की जय जय स्वामी जी महाराज जी की जय जय साई बालाजी महाराज जी की जय जय बजरंग बली की जय.
What's next?
অনেক লোক এসছে তো
Excuse me. Yeah, we'll form a line on this side, on this side of the mandir, right? So just in one line, if you guys can come. Just one line from here. One second.
Please come.
Okay, you guys can proceed.
Hey, somebody should be there to give them. Somebody should be there to hand over. Please. Come.
Keep going. I don't think there is envelope.
Yes, of course.
Raj, is there like a box for the envelope or something? One second, hold on.
Come. Good to see you.
You want to know? In 12 minutes, huh?
Are you in touch with them, Rajarshi and Pranam?
Hi everyone. We have a laser show at Hanuman Temple. If you are interested, after you finish here, you can go down to the Hanuman Temple and watch the laser show. You will have another laser show after this show right now. Right now one show is going on. It's only 10 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, no, that's all right.
Yes.
Bring happiness in the house.
Whoever is in the last of the line, if you can help with folding chairs, that would be really awesome.
Thank you very much.
While the seniors first finish up, maybe senior citizens get priority. Madam, you can leave it. The boys are there. No, so many katta masta boys I see.
And seeing what is out there. Oh, nice things are there. Yes.
It's going back.
That's it, just leave the chair like this.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, the priest is saying keep the chairs as is. Sorry guys. Don't remove the chairs, he's saying. Thank you, sir. Vendama. It's okay is what the priest is saying. Thank you, sir. Thank you. They will address it, so thank you.
Yes, Mother's Day. এই তো হ্যাঁ ভালো আছি দেখলাম আপনাকে ওমেগা আছে সামনে but I think that's look up the website Vedanta Society schedule of talks you will see 24th 25th May March just take it you will see yes and there is also Phoenix retreat in December Phoenix
কথা খুব ভালো লাগলো
হ্যাঁ আমাদের গতকাল রাইট পরপর দুদিন হ্যাঁ
খুব ব্লেসড
আই নিউ Thank you for the question. One thing you can do is roll back this carpet. You roll back the carpet quite a lot, so that people don't trip over it. Yes.
Jai Hanuman.
హలో జై హనుమాన్ చేసా ఆఫ్ చేశారా ఆన్ చేయండి జై హనుమాన్ జై హనుమాన్